Ladies and gentlemen, all the ships at sea, we are here again for another week, figuring out what's going on in the Las Vegas market and the market overall, because let's not lie, things have gotten very interesting very quickly. So let's go ahead and start doing how we do it here. We're going to start going through the numbers, and I don't want to waste too much of your time. No jibba jabba. And let's start her up here. So, as we always do, let me switch this over. Let's start figuring out what is going on in the market itself. So, let's go to the 7-day. And I don't know if you've been tracking this. It is up again for the number of new listings. We're almost double the new listings than we had uh, just a couple of months ago. 264 have come back on market. And be honest, relative to the numbers that we have here, that's not too bad. Price decreases. This is where it gets very, very interesting. Look there, 1,209, 1,209 price decreases over the last 7 days. So we'll break that down and see how many we have on market. But as you can see, there were more price decreases than there were homes sold, and almost as many as new listings. So the market is getting very interesting right now. Under contract showings, no show, 286 and 631 respectively. Now look at this. The number sold, 782. That is half the number that came on the market. So it's getting frightening. Withdrawals 173, conditionals 95. Even the coming soons are up. Expireds are about the same for now. So let's go on in and start looking at the numbers. Okay, so let's see what has sold to date. So let's go ahead and get in here. So from the first to now, and let's go ahead and limit this down to Southern Nevada. Like I say, I never look at these numbers ahead of time. I want to be surprised and have a good reaction going on here. I'll just do it this way. So we're just going to be looking at Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. Now, the overall market, 1,808 sold. Let's look at the stats. Okay, so the overall market, the median close price was 455, and the average was 542. And for the first time that I've seen in a while, the average close price was less than the average list price of these homes. Yet, the median close price was higher than the median list price. So, kind of fascinating there. Cheapest thing to sell in Las Vegas for this 2-week period, listed for 75, closed for 90,000. It was an efficiency, so no bedrooms, 1 bath. And of course, the most expensive thing sold for 17.5. So I don't know if it was actually listed for the 24 million. Actually, it had to have been. So this is actually the max price, the max house right here. Listed for 24.5, sold for 17.5. Okay, let's get on back and start breaking this down. Then we'll compare it against last month. So let's see here. Boop. Let's start with our friends, the condominium. So 207 condominiums sold. Starting to look at the numbers real quick here. With the cheapest condo that was sold for $92,000. Again, another efficiency. No bedrooms, one bath, 416 square feet. It actually sold over the list price by $7,000. The most expensive one, ooh, was a 3 bedroom, 4 bath that sold for 950,000, but it was listed for 1,043,000 or 44, however you want to look at it. So it actually sold for less than list price. Average for the condos, at least, 252, which is above the list price of 249.8, and the median 245, which is 6,000 over list. So, at the very least, a month ago or so, people were still paying a little bit over list. Because remember, this is a little bit of delayed gratification because most houses are in escrow for about 30 days. So let's go back and see how. See here. Let's take a look at single family. Now let's go to townhome first. So 153 townhomes sold. Let's look at the stats. Okay. Least expensive one. This is interesting. Wonder if the least expensive thing that sold was a mobile home. We'll look at that this week. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 630 square feet. Well, it sold below list. Listed for 129, sold for 110. The average, uh, just slightly above list price. So close of 246, list of 343, and the median 355, compared to the list of three, let's call it 49. Let's go ahead and combine these so we can compare this using the board stats from last month. So far this month, 360 have sold with, drum roll, 292, 273 is the average, and 280 was the median. Now let's go ahead and compare that against last month. So last month, it was, oh, look at this, 285. Whoops, 280. The price has gone down. Surprising. Let's see. Let's look at the average. Ouch. Last month, the average was 304,957. So far, the average is 292. We are starting to see prices adjust. Interesting. And yet they were higher than the list. So it's going to get interesting when we start getting deeper into these stats. Let's go to our single family. Okay, 1,433 have sold so far this month, which is interesting because seven something have sold so far in the last 7 days, and we're 19 in. So, interesting. So let's go ahead and look at these numbers here. And okay, it looks like the average did go up for single family homes. We're going to check here in a second, but they sold for less than the average list price, 609 compared to 612. So let's just look at what the average was. Oh my. The average jumped, but remember it went down last month, so it's jumping up after going down. But this is a shocking number, looking at what we have here. 609. Let's see. In the median, I'm finding this hard to believe. For single family homes, single family, they were selling for almost 10,000 over list price. Now, again, this was 30 plus days ago before we had a little bit of a change in the market. Things are going to continue to change and we'll see what they are. So let's compare that median to last month, which was 282. 282. Mm-hmm. And it looks like the effective months of inventory have gone up. Now, this is absolutely surprising to me. I find it hard to believe that the price has gone up again, especially with interest rates. So I have no idea what's going on and why the prices are still going up. I would have actually suspected them to be completely flat, and that's what I predicted. And I was absolutely wrong. I will admit when I'm wrong. So it's gone up another $7,000. It's absolutely fascinating to me. Okay, here is the first chance for someone to ask a question. Okay, we've got a few people on. Okay, no questions so far. I'll keep on going through and seeing what we can get for this. So let's just go take a look at, let's see here. So 1,433 sold, 480 was I'm sorry, 489, 900, which is, let's just be honest, is, see if we can find it here. So let's see what the median priced house looks like now that is sold. Oh my goodness. One that is exactly 489, 900. So this one sold 2,243 square feet, 4 bedroom, 4 bath, 2-car garage, built in 2013. Sounds nice. On the market for 7 days. Drum roll. So closing in on $500,000. This is what you're getting right now. We'll look at one or two others. Whoa, no judgment. It's a fitness item, right? It's a fitness item. Ah, rooftop deck, which means it's probably a Ryland home. Okay. And we can still go in that area. Let's just pick one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's see here. May as well call this the same. 490. Again, I'm absolutely shocked. It's blowing me away. Absolutely surprising. I cannot believe houses went up even more. especially with interest rates. But a lot of these people probably locked in before they hit the 6%. Okay. Well, takes care of that one. Let's go back and take a look at, let's see, we'll break this down by each one there. So let's take a look at the condos, see what we get for that average. So just to remind me, because I'm old. Okay. So we'll look at the median price, 245. Getting close there. So let's see here. So 245. Here's the median. So let's look at a couple of them. Okay, here's one bedroom, one bath. It actually has a garage built in 2006. It's on the market for 12 days. Okay. Kevin, normally, hold on, let me finish this up. I'll talk to you, Kevin, here. So this is what we're getting. Okay, this is about what you can get for 245. So this actually looks like a very nice complex here. Wait a minute. Is the pool drained? Uh, okay. Maybe they were doing something. So that pool water looks a little interesting there. Okay. Let me at least get back to myself here. Let's talk to Kevin for a bit. Okay. Is the VA loan lower than a regular FHA loan? I'll probably retire next year and hopefully be much lower than the present. Uh, VA loans and and FHA loans are normally about the same interest rate, which is a slight bit lower than a conventional loan. I've never kind of understood that for some of these loans, but the government loans, maybe because they're backed by the government, have a lower interest rate slightly, maybe like a quarter of a percent, half a percent. It's based on the timing. If anybody ever wanted to know the difference in these interest rates, it has to do with a combination of several factors, including how much the loan officer or bank wants to make off of it. In general, they make about 1.5% of your loan value. That's what the loan officer makes in general. Some will take less and they pass that savings on to you. Uh, there are several factors that are built into an interest rate, and that's why they can actually like do some lender credits and things. And one of the things to think about, or I would have said to think about a while back, is you can take a slightly higher interest rate and get lender credits to help your closing costs. Also, if you're on a conventional loan, we discussed this one a couple of weeks back, you can actually pay off your PMI up front, and it's usually a lot cheaper than people think. Since I talked about that one, I actually ran across someone who actually did it, and I think they paid something like $1,400 to pay off their PMI. So pay 140, no, 150 a month, or give them $1,400. For some odd reason, people aren't being told that. Interesting, right? So yeah. Okay, let's go on back. Make sure I don't. I'm actually like showing stuff here. Let's look at another 245. Actually, that's the one we just looked at. Okay. Okay. That's what we're getting, or at least what was sold for that price. So you have a kind of a good idea of what's going on. I kind of apologize for my camera. I got multiple cameras up here, and for some odd reason, my really good camera stopped working. I don't know why. It's just not connecting to the computer. So this is the camera I'm using is the ubiquitous. They say if you want a good camera, go get this camera. But most people don't want to pay, a few $100 for a webcam, which is what the other one is. But it just isn't cooperating right now. And we'll just go ahead and take a look at this one. And when I was talking a few moments ago about the bank interest rates, what I wanted to say, it's just a few pictures, is that a month ago, if you had said I needed closing cost, I would have said no way. Right now, houses are starting to sit on the market a little bit longer. And you saw how many came on the market and how many sold. So people are starting to get a little bit frightened, and that is causing an opportunity. And as you see, prices have not started to come down. I actually expected them to be flat this month, and they were not. But there is still in that fright a chance to get closing cost because I have started to see some properties that are definitely sitting on the market longer, and that is a good opportunity for you. I can't wait to see the statistics about a month from now because 2 weeks, no, 3 weeks ago is when everything hit a wall, especially those interest rates. So 355 is the median. So let's go find a 355. Okay, we got a couple of 355s here. Okay, we got a 1,588 square foot place, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2 car garage built in 2004 on the market for 2 days. Something tells me this one is going to look really nice. I have a theory. Okay, it's okay. So I can tell just by looking out the windows, it's a ground floor unit. Oh, and a 2-story ground floor unit. These types of townhomes, uh, they'll have one that's a downstairs unit, one that's an upstairs unit, and like the big one, is a classic townhouse kind of configuration that is upstairs and downstairs. Now, the one that's upstairs, you like go in through the front door. So you have your own front door and you go up the stairs in this configuration. Well, not this one, but the ones where it has the upstairs one. And that's pretty much it. So you basically walk into your door, that's your door, and you go up the stairs. And if you're lucky, you have a garage, which most of them do, and there's a little garage door to your right. Okay, not a bad complex. See if we can find another one. Hope this isn't the same one. That's the same one. Let's see, another 355. The next one, same configuration here. I should have said what it was. But 355 upstairs and downstairs, those stairs look really nice. Okay. Well, that's what we have going on in the market. And I cannot lie, I am completely surprised because of everything that's going on in the market right now. So if you start to look, like these major companies are starting to lay off people. Now, these are not agents. These are like the back staff offices and stuff. But some of these people are just starting to see something out there and they're like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Well, let's go ahead and hedge our bets. Tesla just laid off a large portion of their workforce because Elon Musk thinks things are about to turn bad. So let's see what happens with Elon there and his thoughts. Um, this one is an interesting mixed bag. The California unemployment actually dropped again to 4.3%. How does this affect us? Well, we're next to California. California comes here to spend their money, which means if more of them have their jobs, there is less of a chance of Vegas having an issue. Because what happens in California happens in Vegas, all the way to the people who are moving here, who are driving up these prices, to uh, them coming here for the weekend and spending money so you don't have to pay state taxes. Now, home sellers are dropping prices, and we just saw that. They are dropping like bricks, and they're not really dropping prices. Here's the thing: people did this whole okay. My neighbor Jim, he listed his house for 450. He got 475 for it. I want to list my house for 500. Well, that's not working. Remember, 3 months ago, for some idiotic reason, that worked. But that person would have actually gotten more if they had listed for 475, but that's another story. So now these people who overpriced their homes because they see the market is hot and they thought, or some of them still think that they have the upper hand, so they overprice their homes. So these are really not traditional price drops. These are price corrections to the market and what people are doing. Every time interest rates go up, it affects people's buying power. Interest rates have darn near doubled since the beginning of the year, causing just a massive shift in how much people can afford. So let's just take a quick look. I've been doing this over and over again. So let's go back to this old chestnut. So let's say you had a 485,000, no, $450,000 house, and you put this conventional loan, you put 5% down, and you had, we're just going to say 3.5% at the beginning of the year. Let's take out stuff like property taxes and home insurance. I'm going to take out PMI so we come up with a good number. So at the beginning of the year, that $450,000 house would have cost you $1,919. Now, without taking into account, how much housing has gone up, current interest rates are over 6%. Unfortunately, my lender did not send me the numbers for his bank this week. Uh, so I'm just going to say 6.1. I don't like using numbers that aren't vetted, but that's where we're at right now. Okay. So 1919. Someone had to buy that same house now, which is not the same house because now that's, a $490,000 house or $500,000 house. Their payments went from 1919 to 2590, almost $700, $670 without doing too much math in public. Uh, that's a car payment. So fewer people can afford that house. And remember also, let's go ahead and do that. Let's say that is now a $490,000 house. Where we get to now? Oh, 2820, $900. So that was the cost of waiting 6 months, $900 a month. Well, let's be honest. You have a smaller buyer pool with a smaller buyer pool. There's going to be fewer people out there to compete, which means fewer offers and fewer chances for people getting that eBay effect going nuts and offering you 50,000 over. It's another reason not to overprice. Plus, we have an increase in inventory. So if you're out there buying for the first time in well over a year, it used to be you better jump on this house while you can. I'm going to say something the opposite of most realtors who still want you to jump on that house because they want a paycheck. Uh, take your time a little bit. The market for this week is one where you can shop around a little bit. Uh, don't just go jumping into things. Remember, you're paying 6.1% interest, and we don't know where interest rates are going. They just raised the Fed rate by 0.75 basis points, or actually 75 basis points, which is 0.75 interest. It does not affect mortgage rates per se. What affects mortgage rates is the 10-year bond, but the 10-year bond is moving in the opposite direction that people are expecting, and that's why interest rates are starting to go up. So we don't know if that's going to correct. The Fed has already said that they're going to raise interest rates with the Fed rate again, like 3 more times. Now, I didn't get the gist of what he was saying because they said it was going to be like 1% or 100 basis points, or however you want to put it. But I don't know if they meant that over those 2 or 3 corrections for the rest of the year or for the next one, because this one they just did was absolutely nuts. And they're trying to do that to stop the worst inflation in over 40 years. Nobody wants to be stuck with that. They'd rather you not buy a house than to have inflation at the 8.6% that it is now, even though there are certain reasons I like it at 8.6%. That's because I'm a military retiree, and I'd get an 8.6% raise. So, so that's why I don't mind it as much, to get a bigger raise because it's based on the inflation rate, CPIW. And they're actually trying to change that, saying it doesn't reflect the true cost because certain things aren't included in there. But I got a lot of fixed costs, like, my house is fixed. Uh, yeah, I literally could not afford my house right now. So I feel very lucky. I bought at a good time. I cannot lie. Any other questions? Let's see. Demetrius, of course. Oh, uh, things have completely changed on builders, man. Things have completely changed. These uh, the script has flipped, and the builders who were arrogant as hell just a month or two ago are coming to see the light. I don't know if you saw, I mean, locally and most of them nationally. I mean, there are some holdouts, and I don't know if you saw the video I did where I was not critiquing, but going through Steve Leto's stuff about that couple in Texas where they had been in contract for like 18 months on a new build, and 6 days prior, uh, the builder canceled on them. So, sometimes there's a lag time, and that could have been before what's going on now. And yeah, it's nuts because the price of the home went up 300,000 bucks. They decided that they'd rather sell it to somebody else and collect an extra 300,000. And I did one earlier a couple of months ago about that happening in Atlanta. So hopefully the arrogance is over. There is a lot of standing inventory that's starting to come up because of these interest rates. So what's happening? Like, let's say you bought your house to be built, back in November, even, because remember, it was back in November, it was taking 8 months. November, what were the interest rates? They were like 3% and sometimes below, according to the type of loan. Well, now when people started canceling, they were like 5.5% or so. Well, those people could no longer afford the house, or their lenders told them they couldn't afford the house, so they reneged because, most builders charge about 2,000 for EMD plus 10% of any upgrades. So it was cheaper for them to just walk away. So now there is standing inventory, which means there is a better chance of getting a deal. Because prior to the craziness, I've seen some pretty darn good deals on standing inventory. I had this guy came from Japan, this Air Force guy, and bought a house. Oh man, American Century. Uh, it was standing inventory. We got it for like 30,000 off, and then because he ended up using their lender, he got another 20,000 to cover his closing cost and 10,000, for not and he used that to knock down the principal. As far as deals on lot premiums and upgrades, the craziness that went on a few months ago of bidding on lots and paying 50,000 for lots, I think that's pretty much over. Uh, I have not seen anything on upgrades. If you really want to save some money, I would go with standing inventory, and we'll have to see what happens with upgrades because they're in trouble when they start reaching out to realtors and saying, we'll give you 5% co op. And some of the builders are doing that because they saw an issue, especially with their standing inventory. And I think that 5% is for standing inventory. Also, put this one out there, put this bug in your ear. If trying to think of a good way to put it. Like, let's say we're talking about that 5%, and you're buying a $500,000 home. Let's do the math real quick. 5% of 500,000 is $25,000. That's a lot of money. So some folks will like to push you into that. Don't fall for the okey doke. If you don't like that house and you want something built for yourself, maybe that realtor gets 3% or 2.5, or because they were paying 2.5, the ones who did pay, or the ones who don't pay or didn't pay, they were paying $500 or nothing. Uh, just make sure you get what you want. Uh, hopefully that covers that. Let's see here. In all honesty, the homes really aren't sitting vacant. So here's the thing. People have gotten so used to a good house selling in the first weekend that they've become so spoiled. Prior to this, houses sat for weeks, months. A normal inventory is 5 to 6 months of inventory. We're at, I mean, if I just do, well, we can do the math, but if I just did quick math, we're probably hitting 2 months. We are way away from any kind of a real correction or any kind of a house sitting there. If it's sitting vacant for 4 and 5 months, yes. But in all honesty, unless it's a piece of crap, a vacant house is going to sell possibly a little bit faster because more realtors are going to show it. And they're going to show it because it's easier to work with than somebody where you got to work with their schedule and you got to, somebody in town, you got to show them some houses, they got to make a decision. Making those appointments is a lot more difficult than you think, even with the modern technology we have now. And then you've got to time it. And then some people don't have the old, I have to live in this area. It's like, oh, I don't care as long as I'm within 30 minutes of my job. Well, that's a lot of area. And trying to coordinate that is a lot harder than a lot of people think. Now, still got another question here. Boom. Let's see. Cadence. Um, I would look for standing inventory. See, here's the issue with new home builders. They don't want to discount their product. So just because they went crazy and everybody went ham, and let's say a house that was 450,000 uh 8 9 months ago is now 550, they don't want to go back to the 450 for multiple reasons. Even though the lumber crisis is pretty much over, They still have other things to worry about. They had a lot of canceled homes and everything, or at least they could have had a lot of canceled homes. I haven't looked at Cadence. I don't want to give no false information. They don't want to go back there. That's why when you're asking the question earlier about upgrades, they would rather give you an upgrade than to lower the price, because once they start lowering the price, there's no end to it. So builders, once they have a price, do not want to lower it. So they'd rather give you stuff than to lower it. But look for standing inventory. For some odd reasons, I don't know how they treat that. Because let's say it's a $500,000 home, and they sell it to you for 480. I'm just going to make that up. It is selling it for cheaper, but they didn't originally build it to sell cheaper. I don't know if you know what I mean. Or it could have, like, if the house is worth 500,000, well, when the house started, it may have been a $450,000 house. One of the things to think about, and now they're selling it for 500,000. It's kind of like one of those things where you're ordering stuff and they keep going, where we're throwing in this bonus and it's worth 995. You're getting all this for $37 kind of BS. Uh, it could be kind of like that. I'm not saying it is, but trust me, 8 months ago, that price was probably lower than the discount they're giving you right now. And I actually have a tool here if you want to look at cadence. Hold on, let me serve you here. I'm going to use this one here. And in case you didn't know, I actually have a way for you to get access to this tool. So let's go take a look at cadence. Well, they're not showing it here. Well, let's just see what we have. Henderson. Cadence is. We can actually see the standing inventory. So here's one at Cadence. We got standing inventory here. That's what this solid house means. So this house here is standing inventory. It's ready to go right now. Or at least this style, because those are definitely not the pictures of the house, and it shows that it's ready to go. Okay. If you want this, just leave a note or something. I'll get that for you. So here's another one at Cadence. It's almost done. So it's under construction. Because it's here, that means it's going to be standard inventory. So they either built it as a spec house, or somebody canceled in the middle of building. Let's see if we find some more cadence. Got two more cadence, but ain't gonna lie, look at those prices. See, look at that, $727,000 for this 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2,400 square foot house. That's a lot. And you know what? I'm sitting here and I just realized I'm not even showing you what's going on. Okay. Now, let me not look like an idiot. Let's go back. So we have this one, Allegro at Cadence, for 499, 236. We can kind of take a look at it here. Open up. So this is standing inventory. You can just go get this one. I have another Cadence. This one is it's being worked on as we speak. So more than likely, it has been canceled. We don't know how far it is, but it's a Toll Brothers, so it's expensive. We got these at Cadence. They're in the 700 range. This is one I was talking about when I realized I wasn't showing you. page here. Pass these. Okay. When it's just an outline like this, it's a plan. So this is something you can go and have built. So look at these, almost done in construction. So somebody either dropped out on these or they are building spec homes. And I don't know if there's building spec homes out there or not. Oh, here's one, 447, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 1453 square feet. And like I said, lot premiums have come back down to normal. Okay, let's see here. Yes, they are. And the builders want to keep it that way so they don't let me get myself back on here so you can see what I'm doing. They don't devalue their product, okay? Uh I don't see those prices coming back down anytime soon, but you could at very least go in there and try to negotiate something or like I've said before, the old break off. If you go in there and you go in without a realtor, this is not a plug to say go use me or anything, but you can use me. If you go into any new home builder without a realtor, which most people do, over 80%, they save that commission that they would have paid out if they're paying a commission. Like I've said before, being very honest, there isn't crap for the agent to do when you sign that paperwork. Okay. Uh, the agent just comes, shows up, and collects their check if you buy a new build. They take care of everything. They do all the communications. So for some of them, they don't want to pay out that commission. Uh, if you really want a new build, I would go in with a stun agent. If and find the ones that are paying commission, which most of them are again, and see what they can break off for you. If this allowed in your state, because I know people in other states may be looking at this. Some states that is not allowed. Oh, okay, no worries. Hey, Stephen, you got your opinion there. Uh, but if they're not going to give you any kind of a break if you go in there by yourself, you will not get anything additional. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? And I thought this was actually Demetrius, but Betsy, you are correct. These are very expensive and it keeps going up and it's ridiculous. Anybody have any questions? I think I've covered most of it here today. Let's see here. Anything else in the news going on? Consumer spending drops. It's mainly on cars. Uh, we've already talked about this, largest interest rate hike ever. Uh, yes, Las Vegas is still a, dang it, I'm doing this wrong again. Hold on, let's go back. Consumer spending has dropped. Largest interest rate. No, this market is not for first time home buyers. Um, but with that, I think they're a little bit behind because with the change in the market, sellers are doing closing cost again. So if you're a first time home buyer and you needed closing cost for the first time in well over a year, you can probably get it now. And yeah, another record. And they're actually looking at the stuff from at the beginning of the month. Uh, at the end of this month, they're going to say that again. And this is another thing that's affecting it. Gas, it's $100 to fill up any car now. So that's going to affect it a lot. So, Stephen, Texas market. I don't know as much about the Texas market other than agents I know in Dallas, Houston, and Austin. I know Austin right now is absolutely on fire still. Um, I haven't heard of any real pullbacks in Dallas and Houston. But houses are actually cheaper in Texas than they are in Nevada. Right now, Nevada is slowly becoming a very high cost area. As you've seen these prices here, if I'd looked at these prices just 2 years ago, they would have been significantly lower. When people started coming here with all of their money, especially from California, if you're in Texas, you know that the Californians have destroyed Austin. No nice way to put it. They have gone in there with all of their cash and they have destroyed that market. Same thing has happened even like in Atlanta, but I cannot talk intelligently on the Texas market. If you want to talk to a Texas agent, like I said, I personally know people in the Houston, Dallas, and Austin markets. Outside of that, I really don't know anybody in Texas. Let's see here. Yes, a lot of people are moving to Valley. I did sell a house up there last year. It was actually pretty nice. As far as lots and building, you're gonna have to use, from what I understand, you're gonna have to kind of use the builders that are up there. The builders down here don't really go up there, but they have some local little construction companies up there that work that area. And there are some new builds going on up in Moapa Valley. Uh, if you want me to point you towards some of that, just reach out. It's real easy. Yes, they are a little bit cheaper out there. Also, another place to look if you're just looking for prices, Pahrump. Now, Pahrump is slowly, their prices are going up. So if you don't mind that hour drive around the hump, according to where you're working, I mean, even if you're at the strip, I think it's maybe an hour 15 drive. So it's still less than like Southern California or something, but you are going to save money. About the only things that are a little bit negative, there's a little bit less to do. You got to drive an hour to Vegas. And if you are a person who likes to cook with gas, there is no gas in Pahrump. I don't think there's gas up in, I'd have to go and look at the house I sold up there, but I have to check from Moapa Valley to see if there's gas up there or not. Because some of these outlying areas don't have natural gas. So here in Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson, that's not an issue. But if you're into cooking with gas, that's a big one. There's something about some water rights going on in Pahrump, but the prices are still decent. There are some new home bills out there if you're interested in those. Like I said, you know what? I'll see if I can remember. I'll have my assistant put the link so you can actually go to the new home builds, and always my website, which should be linked down below. I don't know if she does it ahead of time or behind time or something, but just go to one of my videos. You can actually go to my site and you can actually look at all the houses in Pahrump and Moapa Valley. They're actually all there. Let's see here. Okay, my thoughts on townhomes. Townhomes can be a good first start. That's a lot of people are going to have to go into townhomes. That's why at one point I would tell people when they couldn't get a house, go for a townhome. And then the script flipped a bit, and townhomes had a lower inventory as far as what you could get than the single families. I still think there may be a good thing in townhomes. The biggest thing you have to watch out in townhomes is the type of loan you use. Uh, a townhome is considered a house when it comes to loans, except this is an interesting one. Some of the townhome HOAs, when they incorporated, for some reason, I think I was told that it had to do with taxes or something. When they incorporated as a condo, even though it was a townhome. And it's really difficult to find the information. I can show you how to do it. It's actually in public records. You will have to see if you're looking at a townhome, if it is a incorporated as a condo, because if it is, you may have issues with government-backed loans like VA loans and FHA loans and USDA loans. And speaking of USDA, another thing about Pahrump is it qualifies for USDA. For those of you who don't know about it, oh, and also for Moapple Valley, a USDA loan is, a lot of people don't know about it. That sucker has no down payment. No down payment. So can you imagine going into a place, no down payment, and if you could get somebody to pay your closing costs? And like I was talking about those new homes out in Pahrump, a lot of new builders, if you use their lender, will pay your closing cost, which means if you get into the right development, you walk in with no money out of your pocket. Uh, Townhomes, one thing I would look out for with townhomes, I just want to get back to my thoughts here, is the HOA fee. The really nice townhomes will have very high HOA fees. So let's say you pay $350 for a townhome. Well, if you get a really nice one, your HOA may be $350 a month. On top of that, there are other considerations. I'm going a little bit beyond townhomes here. So let's say you want to get one of those high rises like on the strip. Those are condos. Uh, One aside, there's only about six that you can do government loans at, and they're mainly VA. The rest of them have to be conventional loans or cash. The HOA fees in those places start at $600 a month. So just to keep that in your mind, that they start at $600 a month on the strip for the high rises. And finishing up on townhomes, some of those townhomes are really nice, man. Really nice. It's a good jumping off point where, worst case scenario, you can easily rent that sucker out if you have to move on and actually start making some money on it, especially with rents today. I don't know if you've seen rents. They are just skyrocketing. Places that used to be, let's say, $1,200 a year ago are now $1,600 and $1,700 for like apartments. So houses, I mean, they've gone up like crazy. Let me see if I can do this. I can actually look at rentals on here. Let's just see how rentals are doing. And I'm going to remember to pull this up this time. So this is the rental market. So right now there are 2,200 rentals. So let's just look at single family. 1,500. Let's because everybody wants a 4-bedroom, right? So 4-bedroom with a pool. Do the pool here. Yep, there's a pool. Boom, 144. Of course, let's limit this down to Vegas. I wish they just did this automatically. Actually, there weren't many rentals outside of Vegas. So the cheapest, man, $24,000. The cheapest place, 4 bedrooms, no garage. There's no picture, so I can't show it. 3 days, they should have had a picture up. Okay, next cheapest place in all of Vegas, 4 bedroom, 2 bathrooms. This one has a garage. It's $2,200. Let's call it what it really is. See, small yard, small little pool. It's barely a wading pool. $2,200 for this. I remember you get a place like this for $1,200 a couple of years ago. Then you just start getting in there and getting something of a decent size. Like, look at this. Let's see here. This is a decent sized place here, 5 bedroom, $3,200. I can tell by the way it looks from the outside. This house was built before 1990, I believe. Let me do a little privacy here and take a look. Oops, that's not it. Where is it? Here we go. So this house was built in, oh, I'm sorry. It was built in 1995. So it's still 27 years old. And you got to pay $3,200 to be in this place. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not telling you anything wrong. $3,200 to have that place as a rental. Let's talk about condos for a sec. Let's see what we get here. I'm sorry, townhomes. If you're trying to rent out a townhome, yeah, of course there's not. 155 on the market. Cheapest townhome is $800, but yeah, one bedroom, one bath. This is $800. So let's get to something that you'd want to be in. Look at this, 1,200 square feet, two bedroom, two bath. Look at that. That's $1,500. That's 1,500 bucks. This little place. You'd come out better buying it. Okay, let's get to the next one. Okay. Yes, Austin is the new California. Uh, California screwed up enough things and enough people where everybody is trying to move to Austin now. As far as the companies go, Texas was very aggressive in offering incentives for companies to move there. I mean, no state taxes, usually no hurricanes unless you're out down in Houston and stuff. About the only thing the only negative thing I have to say about Texas, I can't really say about Austin. It's just Texas in general. Uh, your property taxes are a bit higher there. Uh, the housing is cheaper. Now I don't know what it is in Austin right now because I know Austin's going nuts. But when I was stationed there, it was cheaper. And I've talked to some people in the San Antonio area. As a matter of fact, a guy, I was just talking to him in San Antonio. So I'm mistaken. I do know some agents in San Antonio. And I was looking at the houses there. They hadn't changed, in my opinion, that much when I was stationed there. And I was stationed there when I was a lieutenant. So yeah. Uh, but if you need anything in Austin, I got some good guys. If you're in the barbecue, I got a guy. His entire life is around barbecue, and you may want to talk to him. Uh, I'm assuming wow because of the prices. Yes, wow. The prices are much higher now. Uh, if you look at the averages and the median prices, Vegas is now above the national average by quite a bit. So we're still no less than California, but this is no longer a low cost option. Uh, but there are some people who've made some fantastic money here, especially if you bought at the bottom of the market, which is the first few months of 2020. I'm sorry, 2012. That was the absolute bottom of the market. I have literally seen people, and this is prior to the current craziness, where I listed a townhouse that was about equivalent as the one I just showed you for rent, where they purchased it for $12,000. Held it had a tenant in there the entire time, and I think we sold it last year, right prior to everything going absolutely nuts with these multiple offers and everything. Got $90,000 for it. $90,000 for something they bought for 12,000 bucks. They had a tenant, so they made like 8 times what they paid for it when you include all of the rents minus the repairs and everything else. So, okay. Anybody have any questions, have any housing needs, questions they want answered as far as the local market, what I know about the national market, or just Vegas in general? I'll stick around for a minute or two. answer your questions, make sure you're all satisfied. Okay. Uh, I'll just talk until I see something. Give it about 2 minutes, and then we'll just end this. As far as what the market's doing right now, it is changing rapidly. I'm surprised the number of houses that have sold and have come on the market. Uh, we now have twice as many homes on the market than sold over the last 7 days, which is the first time I've seen that happen in a very, very long time. Prices, for whatever reason, have still gone up. I do not understand why, especially with the interest rates. And, the one thing I did not check, and I always check this when I say this, and I go like, why are prices still going up? I did not check to see how many are cash buyers because the cash buyers just don't care. So let's look at the month so far. And figure out how many cash buyers we had. So cash 690. So I'm sorry, 629. Let's not be dyslexic there. So 629 compared against a market of 1788. That's 35%. Let me slide that in there. 629 divided by 1788. That's why the prices are still high. The cash buyers are supplementing everyone else. And if you were to take them out, that would be interesting to see how the market would have been affected. So these cash buyers are still tearing it up right now. Interesting. Okay. And I appreciate you coming. So, any more questions? I'm going to give it 1 minute, and that explains why the prices went up. Cash buyers are holding the market up right now. So if those cash buyers were to disappear, things would not be so great. Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone who was here today live. This was actually a very nice audience and everything. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Hopefully, me or my assistant will catch that. If you need anything, just reach out, give us a call, text, or email, and I will get back to you. I also have another agent who works with me because I like mentor other agents, and she's my current mentee. And I will get that information to you. Make sure that you're 100% taken care of. Okay. Want to thank everyone for being here tonight. And it is dinner time, which I don't know what I'm going to be eating. But thank you again. See you guys.